For my next buy, I'm sticking around the Big 12. I am buying the Colorado Buffaloes. Give me all you got now. Here's the deal with the Buffs. There's a lot of people waiting for Deion to get his comeuppance. Barring a late-stage exit to the Dallas Cowboys, Colorado's in a lot better shape than I think people think in general. There is a lot of expectation that, hey, well, Shador's gone. You're losing another batch of receivers. And Wester and Horn and, obviously Travis Hunter, Heisman Trophy winner, is gone. Fad Dion is going to be hapless. No, I don't think that's what's going to happen. For one, Chris, I think the one thing I've maybe said more on this show than anything is I'm a believer in continuity. Continuity wins. Deion did not have a staff overhaul. He had a big one last year. Did not love that at all. But he won. I mean, Pat Shurmur, I had very moderate expectations for. He did a good job last year. Rob Livingston, never called a play before. Fantastic job. He was hugely responsible for what they did. Those two guys are back. And you bring in Caden Salter, who I think is really a guy that fits your offense well, can be sort of steadying. And if Juju Lewis is special, it is what it is, then he can win that job out. They bring in another receiver from Tulsa, Joseph Williams. They got all these pieces defensively. I think you're going to see Colton Hood have a big year coming back for them. This team has a lot more talent still there than a lot of people expect. DJ McKinney had a nice year coming over from Oklahoma State last year. So, yeah, they lose a lot. But offensively, you still have Jordan Seaton up front. Their offensive line, I think, has 3 starters back. This isn't going to be a wasteland that I think a lot of people think it's going to be post-Shador, post-Travis. I think this is still like an 8-win team, 7-8-win team, and that is not what people think. So it's more like a buy-the-dip situation here, Chris.
Yeah, you got to wait for that dip to happen because they just won 9 games. Just won 9 games. You're buying them expecting 8 wins. That's not a good buy for the stock market. Because people think that they're about
to crash, and I'm telling you they're not going to crash.
You're going to have to wait. When we get to like those preseason expectations and they're like predicted to maybe not make a bowl or something, then that's when you buy it because then that's when you think it'll go up. I don't think they're going to crash and burn by any means, but Caden Salter is a completely different quarterback from Shador Sanders.
He is.
Yeah.
He will have to run a lot, which Shador didn't, but Salter can, depending on how that offensive line goes. Have they had, the last 2 years, they had massive portal overhauls. Is that happening this year?
17 guys, I believe. 17 guys they've added. They've lost, I think, a similar number. I don't have the
That's way. I mean, that's way lower than what it was. And
it's like a normal. It's a very normal portal haul, for a Power 4 program.
And I'm just going to say
huge pieces and gain some nice ones.
I say that because you're buying the continuity there while you just sold Arizona State, which has even more continuity. That one I don't quite get. But fair enough.
The biggest loss is probably Nakai Hill-Green, who went to Bama. But they grabbed Jaheim Otis from Alabama to help them up front defensively. He's a nice player. I think he, especially in the Big 12. There are not many of those guys roaming around the Big 12. I like that pickup for them and help. They did a really good job of stopping the run this year. Like in 2023, there was this idea that they were just going to get massacred on the lines. They were not good. The offensive line struggled.
Did.
Well,
2023?
I'm talking about the defensive line and the offensive line. It wasn't as bad as people thought it was going to be. People thought it was just going to be like turnstile stuff.
I'm looking
The offensive line struggled. Defensive line was not. The defensive line was not good. But last year they did fix it. Like a lot of the stuff, they were like competent, sort of, on the lines.
They did fix it last year, but they were 110th in yards per carry allowed in 2023.
Yeah, I know, but that's a lot because
really
they're
bad.
playing from behind a lot.
No, yards per carry, not total yards per game. Yards per carry. It was bad.
Either way.
But it got a lot better.
My thing about
I think 110th people would have been surprised to see them there. My point is.
I'm sorry, I was wrong. 103rd, not 110th.
My point is people thought it was going to be a complete disaster on both sides of the line. It was not good. It was not as bad. Offensively, it was in year 1. Defensively, it was not that bad. Anyway.
Yes, it was.
My thing with Colorado, I feel like last year they played a lot of hero ball. And now, granted, they did get better at a lot of fundamental things, and the categories reflect that. The statistics reflect that. Whether it's, how many times Shador was sacked, they might have averaged maybe 0.5 yards per carry more, yada, yada, yada. But at the end of the day, it was a lot of Travis Hunter saving them on defense and Shador saving them on offense. Just buying enough time and just throwing the ball up there. somewhere somebody's going to get it, whether it's Webster, whether it's Travis Hunter, whether it's Horn, somebody's going to be down there, somebody's going to get the ball. And I just don't think that that's a sustainable method, especially when you're losing a lot of your superheroes. Most importantly, your two main ones. So I was a big Colorado believer all year because I thought that their superhero ball was going to get them far enough. But even we saw when they played good teams, that superhero style, like that doesn't work. It's not applicable. So I would have to sell my stock because that's the way that they play. That's the way their team is orchestrated. And I think, again, when you lose those guys, we don't really know what these guys they're bringing in are going to be able to do in this system given the circumstances. So I would have to sell.